Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today because we have some very exciting General Hospital news to talk about, and it's definitely worth the wait. You know, I was sitting out on the back porch the other evening, feet up on the old wooden rail, a fresh cup of coffee going cold in my hand while the evening crickets started their song. I turned on General Hospital like I do most afternoons, and I swear what came on the screen just about stopped my heart for a second. After all these years of following the wild lives in Port Charles, this story between Nina Reeves and her daughter Willow has me feeling everything sadness, worry, even a little anger like these folks were my own neighbors. Family can sure test you in ways you never expect, can it? And right now, Nina is walking through one of the toughest fires a mother ever has to face. I watched her face crumble when the truth finally hit her full force. Her own flesh and blood, Willow, that gentle, soft-spoken young woman we all thought had such a kind heart, is the one who shot Drew Kane. Not in the heat of the moment, not out of fear, twice, straight in the back. Then, as if that wasn't enough to break a mother's spirit, Willow admitted she injected him with some kind of paralyzing drug that caused his stroke. I sat there talking back to the television like an old fool, saying, Lord above, what in tarnation has gotten into that girl? My heart just ached for Nina. She's already buried one daughter and fought through more pain than most people could bear in a lifetime. Now here she is again, staring at the same kind of darkness creeping into her family once more. On top of all that heartbreak, Willow has become completely fixated on keeping Jacinda away from little Wiley and Amelia. She's determined, almost obsessed, like nothing else in the world matters. You can see it in her eyes, that wild, unreasonable fire that makes a mother wake up in the middle of the night with fear in her chest. Nina has always been a fighter, a woman who never gave up easily, but this time she's looking at something she knows she can't just fix with love and hugs. Those terrible things Willow has done, the shooting, the drugging, the threats they have to stop before someone else gets seriously hurt, or worse. I've raised my own kids, so I understand that heavy, sinking feeling all too well. You want to protect them with every breath you take, but sometimes real protection means making the choices that hurt the most. What touches me deepest about Nina right now is her quiet strength. She's made up her mind that she's going to get Willow the real help she needs, no matter what price she has to pay. She's not pretending anymore. She's not making excuses or sweeping things under the rug like she might have done before. She sees the craziness for exactly what it is, and she's choosing to face it head on. That takes real courage, especially for a mama who's already lost so much. Right now, she's walking a terrible tightrope, trying her best to shield her daughter while knowing in her heart that she also has to save her from herself. She's even found a way to keep Drew quiet for the time being, but I don't think that can last forever. Not if she truly wants to pull Willow back into the light. And then there's that slick character, Jen Sidwell. Oh, I've seen enough of his type in my time to know trouble when it shows up wearing a fancy suit. Willow's leaning on him for help, and nothing good ever comes free from a man like that. There's always a price, always strings attached that can wrap around your life and squeeze tight. Nina knows it too. She's shocked and scared by how completely Willow loses all common sense the moment Michael or Jacinda gets mentioned. This isn't just a protective mother anymore. This is something darker and more dangerous. It reminds me of how Nina suffered so much with her other daughter, Nell. Life sure has a cruel way of repeating the hardest lessons, doesn't it? But I believe Nina has learned from that pain. She's got steel in her spine and a mother's love that runs deeper than the ocean. I keep thinking about all the nights Nina must be lying awake, turning everything over in her mind. She knows that if she really wants to help Willow to get her proper care and stop these dark thoughts before they turn into more harm, she might have to tell the truth about the shooting, the drugs, and everything else. Even if it feels like betrayal. Even if Willow never forgives her. That's the kind of love they don't put in storybooks, the tough, painful kind that says, I love you enough to stop you. I've seen it in my own family and in friends over the years. Sometimes the bravest thing a parent can do is draw that hard line and say enough is enough. This whole storyline has me reflecting on life outside the TV too. How many mothers and fathers out there, especially us folks getting a little older, are losing sleep right now because their grown children are heading down a dangerous road? We raised them, we prayed over them, we cheered their successes and cried over their mistakes. And even when they're adults with families of their own, that worry never really leaves your heart. General Hospital is doing what it does best, showing us that family isn't always pretty pictures and happy endings. It's messy, it's painful, but the fight to save the people we love is still worth every tear, every sleepless night, and every hard decision. I've got my fingers crossed real tight for Nina. I'm hoping with all my heart that she finds the strength and wisdom to do what's right for Willow, even when every part of her wants to wrap her arms around that girl and protect her from the whole world. She's a good mother at heart, and good mothers don't quit when things get ugly. They dig deeper, they love harder, and sometimes they make the choices nobody else has the courage to make. I'll be right here in my favorite chair, waiting for the next episodes, like the rest of you. These stories feel so close to real life sometimes that they stay with you long after the credits roll. So tell me, friends, how are you feeling about Nina and Willow these days? Do you think Nina will have the heart to get her daughter the serious help she needs, even if it means telling the painful truth? Or will a mother's love make her keep covering things up a little longer? I'd sure love to hear your thoughts while I sit here sipping my coffee and waiting to see what happens next in Port Charles. Life's full of surprises, ain't it? And right now, this one's hitting especially close to home. You know, I was sitting out on the back porch the other evening with my feet up, coffee going cold beside me, when General Hospital came on and pulled me right in again. These latest scenes with Nina have been weighing on my mind heavy, like a good friend going through something painful. After all these years watching Port Charles, I feel like I've seen Nina grow and struggle, and right now she's carrying a burden that would crush most mothers. In one of the recent episodes, there was this quiet, powerful moment that really stuck with me. Nina walked into the room where Drew was all by himself. The poor man was still recovering, and she looked at him with real softness in her eyes. She even mentioned how much he'd been blinking, like she was truly noticing his pain. Then she spoke to him from the heart, told her ex that even though he'd done some terrible things, she never wanted any of this suffering to happen to him, especially not before Willow got involved. I sat there thinking, now that's a woman with a big heart. Despite everything Drew put her through, Nina still found room for a little compassion. That scene felt so human, so real. It reminded me how complicated love and hate can get when you've shared a life with someone. But the real heart twister came right after. Nina turned to Willow and said they needed to talk alone. Willow, looking tense as a tightrope walker, took Drew into his bedroom to get him settled. Then, in that private moment between mother and daughter, Willow opened up and revealed the blackmail situation. I could almost feel the air get thick in that room. Nina, listening to her own daughter confess more darkness. It must have been like a knife twisting in her chest. Now, here's what I keep turning over in my mind while I'm out watering the garden or fixing something in the garage. That little bit of sympathy Nina showed Drew, does it tempt her to stop protecting Willow's secrets? When your heart feels for the person your child hurt, it changes things, doesn't it? Nina's always been a fighter who protects her kids fiercely, but she's also got a strong sense of right and wrong. Seeing Drew vulnerable like that, blinking slow and clearly still suffering from what Willow did, I wonder if that compassion is pulling at her conscience real hard. At the same time, I know how deep a mother's love runs. She might keep the secret for now, but I bet she won't stay quiet about it. I can picture her looking at Willow with those disappointed eyes and laying into her, not screaming, but with that heavy, sorrowful tone that says, "Shame on you, child." This isn't the daughter I raised. The kind of talk that comes from a place of deep hurt and love mixed together. You know the kind, the one that stings more than yelling ever could. Nina has already been through hell with Nell, so she's not blind to the patterns anymore. She sees the danger in Willow's actions, and I don't think she's willing to keep making excuses.